Welcome into the Los Angeles Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Coming up, we're going to recap this Lakers Game 4 loss to the Phoenix Suns and also preview Game 5 on Tuesday night. Lakers dropped Game 4 at the Staples Center, 100-92. This series now even up at 2 games apiece heading into a critical Game 5. So many times in these 7-game series, the winner of that Game 5 matchup ends up being victorious in this series. Chris Paul looked like the MVP Chris Paul that he played like throughout the regular season. That shoulder injury looks to be healing. He drops 18 points and dishes out 9 dimes in the win for the Phoenix Suns. They really needed him to step up, and he did. DeAndre Ayton causes the Lakers fits once again, 14 points, 17 rebounds. He was really dominant, especially in one-on-one matchups against Andre Drummond. Jay Crowder for the Suns also had a solid game, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. LeBron James, a double-double with 25 and 12. Marc Gasol, in about 23 minutes of action, was really solid, 12 points, 8 rebounds in 23 minutes. But the big focus in this game, Anthony Davis. He only scored 6 points. Why is that? Not because he was held in check, but he did not return after halftime because of a left groin strain. He was already battling a knee injury from Game 3, and now his status moving forward in this series is unknown, and if he's out for an extended period of time, that is not good news for the Lakers. In limited action in Game 4, he was only able to score 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on 2 of 9 shooting. Late in the second quarter, fell to the court, immediately grabbed his left groin. He hobbled into the locker room. There was a picture of him in pain in the locker room, kind of limping a little bit, and did not return to the court after halftime. Again, his status moving forward in this series is unknown. But what is your level of concern for Anthony Davis? He was taking on that knee injury, and he said there's no way that's going to keep me out of the lineup for Game 4. Now he has a left groin strain. As we've seen, injuries have kind of been problematic for AD throughout his career. Scale your concern for AD from 1 to 10, 1 being not concerned at all, 10 being very, very concerned. I'm at about a 6 or 7 with AD just because he's somewhat brittle, and also considering the fact that if AD is out, it completely changes this entire series. He was the most dominant and most valuable player for the Lakers in Games 2 and Games 3, dropping 34 points each. If he's not on the floor and healthy for the Lakers, the Suns can easily come back to win it. That's how great, how dominant AD has been. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope also did not play for the Lakers. Didn't play in Game 4 due to that bruised left quad that he suffered in Game 3. Good news is that according to reports, he showed some improvement after Game 3. He was more so held out because of precautionary reasons. Wesley Matthews did start in his place. LeBron James, he stepped up without AD. Was once again really good. Might have played his best game of the series up to this point. 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was the most efficient that he was from the floor in 4 games so far at a 10 of 21 clip, On the other side, DeAndre Ayton continues to give the Lakers the business. He was fantastic. And whoever Frank Vogel put up against him, whether it was Andre Drummond or Marc Gasol, Ayton once again shined. 14 points, 17 rebounds, a very efficient 6 of 8 from the floor. And as we look ahead and project forward in this series, Lakers have to come up with an answer for DeAndre Ayton because every single game, he's been a stud, he's been dominant, and he's going to continue to do so if somebody doesn't step up in that Lakers defense. Chris Paul, on the other hand, it was painful to watch him throughout the first 3 games of this series. That shoulder injury after a couple days off, they got an extra day of rest heading into Game 4, looks to have helped him and assisted him. He looked somewhat normal, I guess, 18 points, 9 assists, so almost a double-double for the point guard, 7 of 15 shooting. He was 0 of 4 from three-point range, but if you're a Phoenix Suns fan, the good news is that Chris Paul was at least attempting three-point jump shots, whereas in the previous couple of games, he wasn't. Looked like he could barely shoot at all. So Lakers go down in this one 100-92. And with the uncertainty that's hovering around Anthony Davis right now, that's a little bit of a concern. A generational player, he was playing like a top 5 dude in games 2 and 3. And if the Lakers don't have him, it completely changes their dynamic, both offensively and defensively as well. Series knotted up at 2-2 heading into Game 5. It's going to be Tuesday night, the start of June, 10 o'clock Eastern in Phoenix. These Game 5s often critical, determining who wins a best-of-7 series when it is tied 2-2. And without AD, things could get very interesting. But again, we do not know his health status moving forward in this series. Who you got in Game 5? It's going to be a big one, and the competitive juices are going to be flowing. Type LAL for the Los Angeles Lakers. Type PHX for the Phoenix Suns. Be sure to get your predictions in the comment section down below. If AD plays, I think the Lakers win it. If he does not, I think there's a real possibility that the Suns could take a 3-2 series lead, especially as Chris Paul continues to look healthier and healthier. So it really all comes down to Anthony Davis. This guy in games 2 and 3, even though LeBron James was on the court for the Lakers, was the most valuable and the best player for the Lakers. And finally, you got to see what the Lakers had kind of envisioned when they brought AD in. They're like, okay, LeBron James is in his late 30s. Let's bring in AD so that he can be the true superstar to take some pressure off of LeBron. That's what AD did in those previous 2 games. But, man, the consistent theme really throughout his NBA career, he's very brittle. And that injury bug continues to bite him. Hopefully he's able to get back on the floor for a critical Game 5. Speaking of Game 5, we're going to have you covered here at Chat Sports and on the Lakers Report. We're covering the Lakers all throughout the playoffs as well as the NBA offseason. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to, 36,000 subscribers. Hit that big red button down below or go to youtube.com/LakersTV. Let's do a little Suns-Lakers Game 5 preview. Game 5 taking place Tuesday night in Phoenix. Series knotted up at 2 games apiece as the competitive juices have been really flowing. There's been a lot of fire, a lot of competitiveness, and this has all of the makings, all of the feel of a Western Conference Finals series. And depending on if Anthony Davis is healthy or not, this one could go the distance. And it's knotted up at 2 games apiece because the Lakers drop Game 4 100-92. Chris Paul was crucial for the Suns down the stretch. Looked healthy, 18 points, 9 assists, 7 of 15 shooting. DeAndre Ayton continuing to just go in for the Phoenix Suns. LeBron James, the good news is that if the Lakers are without AD, he has his bounce back. He looks to be strong. That was the case, and I said so after Game 3. That continued on into Game 4. LeBron was really good, 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists in this Game 4 defeat. And LeBron was just making plays happen, especially without Anthony Davis on the floor in that second half, because he did leave the game with that left groin strain late in the first half. He was seen kind of hobbling and favoring that leg in the locker room, and reports came out from the team right at the start of that third quarter that AD would be lost for the rest of the game. Not sure what that means for the rest of the series. Who needs to step up for the Lake Show in Game 5? A couple of guys who could really rise to the occasion and step up. Let me know who you think needs to step up in Game 5 for the Los Angeles Lakers. My adjustments for Game 5. AD's health status has to be healthy. And if he's not, that spells massive trouble for the Los Angeles Lakers. You saw what he did in Games 2 and 3 against the Suns. 34 points on back-to-back nights. AD was phenomenal. He was unstoppable. He looked like a straight-up dog. AD needs to be healthy for the Lakers to have any semblance of success at all. And if the Lakers are without him, changes what they do offensively as well as defensively. So that's my number one key and adjustment for Game 5 is just getting AD back on the floor and healthy. Also for the Lakers, as they put together a defensive game plan with a couple of days off, both on Monday, actually only one game off, Chris Paul's looking healthier and healthier, folks. And if he plays like he did throughout the regular season, where he can just carve you up and both create shots for his teammates, but also get his own shots and kind of spread the floor a little bit and at least attempt or shoot three-point shots, opens up everything that the Suns want to do offensively. Now, in games 2 and 3, and really for the majority of game 1, Chris Paul couldn't shoot the ball at all. So he was somewhat of a liability. He was not a liability in this game 4 crucial win for the Phoenix Suns. Lastly, DeAndre Ayton continues to dominate for the Suns. Against Andre Drummond, he was bodying up in the post. It wasn't even a contest. Frank Vogel had put Marc Gasol on DeAndre Ayton, and he fared a little bit better, but we know that Gasol is long in the tooth. We know that he's getting older, and Ayton is an athletic force. Frank Vogel has to draw up something, because Ayton, every single game of the series, has been a complete difference maker. So I said it earlier. I think this has all the feeling of a 7-game series. Possibly it feels like a Western Conference Finals matchup, 2-7. I wish we had it later on in the playoffs because of all of the drama that has ensued. But will Lakers Suns go the distance and be a 7-game series? Let me know. Get your predictions in the comments section below. Type Y for yes or type N for no.